Yeah, great performance tonight by our team, especially Cade. Special performance. Not taking it for granted. That's what we've seen all year. He's the best pitcher in the country, and did it again tonight. That's been on the regular every game one of the entire season. So I'm glad he did that tonight. So everybody got to see what we've seen and known for an entire season. Other things that I thought were great in the first inning, Derek Curiel, 0-2, draws the walk. Ethan Fry moves the ball against a very difficult pitcher. Steven gets down to 2 strikes and hits a ball hard and low through the middle of the field. That he's better than that at everybody else in the country, and that's all he needed. You know, a couple other things I'd like to point out is Luis Hernandez behind the plate tonight was spectacular. I mean, this guy was striking out a lot of guys, and some of them were on chase pitches, the blocks, the recovery, the tag, or throw down to first base to not let any weird plays kind of happen. And then Michael Braswell's defense at third base was a difference maker in the game tonight. So good all-around effort by our team, and get ready to go for tomorrow.
We'll now open it up to questions for the student athletes.
Life Scott, WorldBaseball.com. Steven, you were 2 for 3 with a walk today off of Fluky, and he had a really great game as well as Cade did. What did you see from him that made you so effective tonight?
Yeah, he made a couple mistakes to me in my at-bats. You know, first at bat, he got 3 heaters, and I was able to get one down and put a good swing on it. And then second at bat, he hung 3 spinners, and I was able to put another good swing on it. And then he walked me the last at bat, but I just saw him well, just stuck to my plan, and was able to execute it.
Noah Bieniek, 11.7. Question for Cade. The top of the third inning felt like a huge frame in this one tonight. First 2 runners get on base. They lay down a bunt. You make the play, get the out at third. How much time did you guys have to practice PFPs in between the 2 off days and this final series? And, I mean, PFTs are pretty routine at this point, right?
Yeah, I think we've practiced over 10,000 PFPs in our season, so we knew we had the plan for what Coastal was all about, and just to go execute and field your position. Simple as that.
Mike Patterson, Omaha World Herald. Cade, just talk about pitching in the heat tonight, and how badly did you want to finish this game off tonight?
Yeah, I think that's the real benefit in playing in Louisiana and growing up there. This was honestly not nearly as bad as what it was in the Super Regional, and I mean, yeah, it wasn't even comparable, honestly. And just like Coach Johnson does, he prepares you for every element, and preparation is a key to our success, and it really showed today.
Cade, Scott Rapollet from the Baton Rouge Advocate. Cade, how many times in your life do you think you were throwing in a game or practice something saying this is to win the College World Series, this is to win a game for LSU like this? I mean, how many times did you live this moment before you got the complete game?
Yeah, probably every night, and really just putting my team in a situation to win. And I mean, we got a loaded bullpen now, and that necessarily wasn't to end the College World Series. So we got one more that we're preparing for, and we're gonna go back to the hotel and start preparing for that one as well.
Cade, that was the most walks you had this year, and you hit a couple guys, both out of character. So how were you able to gather yourself and pitch out of trouble so often?
Yeah, just really focusing on the next pitch, and it wasn't pretty, but got the job done. And just like I said, just putting the team in a situation to win. And sometimes the staff we have is just all you need is one run sometimes, and Coach Johnson prepares us to be one run ready.
Peter Burnett from the Council Bluffs Non-Pro. Question for Steven. That first inning, Coach kind of mentioned it, Derek drawing that walk. What does that do for you, having a hitter ahead of you like that who can draw so many, especially in that circumstance? And then talk me through your at-bat. Down 0-2, swung and missed those first couple, and then lined one up the middle. So kind of talk me through both of those things.
Yeah, Derek getting on base puts a lot of pressure on the defense. And then, my first 2 fastballs I swung at, I feel like I got out of my plan. Got back to my focal point and was just able to put a good swing on it and shorten up. And, that's had it happen to be the difference maker. But I'm just trying to get up there and pass it to the next guy and be a tough out.
Cade, Steven, we appreciate your time. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank y'all.
At this time, we'll open it up to questions for Coach.
Jay, I know you won the game, but I got to ask you about the call on Dickinson when he was called out. It didn't look like you even got to ask a question, much less argue. Can you tell us what that interaction was like?
Well,
And what you saw?
yeah, I mean, as far as after, you're not supposed to go out there after a review. Like, so the umpire was correct, and I know that, and I knew that. I just wanted clarification for, I mean, the ball was clearly in the batter's box. Like, I'm not sure what he was supposed to do. And it's a tough rule where you're rewarding the pitcher for throwing a ball in that case. And I thought he did make attempt to roll, but at that point, my team needs me to stay poised and focused and calm, and as they said, get to the next pitch. And that was that. So you're not allowed to, after a review, you're not allowed to go back out to the umpire.
Harrison Fan, SEC Unfiltered. Coach, talk to me about what you saw from Cade Anderson throughout the game, not just looking back at it, but throughout the game, and just how, he kept getting out of jams, and leaving runners stranded for Coastal on base in so many different ways, the defense helping him out along the way, and just the thought process and sending him back out there for the ninth.
Yeah, I think as far as the pitching with traffic, I think I heard Coach Savage say it earlier this week, like, it's the College World Series. You're going to pitch with runners on base. This is the best teams in the country, and that's one of the best teams in the country. And they do a great job of finding their way on base, and they did a few times tonight. And he told me in the third inning, I just went down to, like, say a little something to him, and he's like, I'll settle in. And I was like, well, nobody knows that better than me. And then he had an outing very similar to this, and I saw some commonalities in that. When we were at Oklahoma, like, we had a 10-pitch inning in the 7th, and then 2 quick outs, really quick outs, like maybe within 3 or 4 pitches within the 8th. And so I felt like they weren't seeing him, felt like they weren't picking him up, and I know the human being, and that's who you want on the mound in the 9th.
Noah Bieniek, 11.7. Coach, it's very likely that was Cade Anderson's last outing, at least starting the game for LSU. Can you talk about his impact on the program? And also tonight, coming into this game, sub 2 walks hit by pitches per inning. He had 7 tonight, and yet he throws 130 pitches in a complete game.
Yeah, I think that was a lot, so I'll try to go back and sort it out. He's the best pitcher in college baseball. We had the best pitcher on the planet 2 years ago in a similar situation, and I felt like Cade's had a very similar season to that, and that's how you get here. And I'm really proud of him, and I think the commonality between the two is the person, the character, the toughness, the team first attitude. And you're probably right. I mean, his next pitch should be for some place in the Washington Nationals organization. It's not close, and they usually draft really well, and he's the best player in the country. There's nobody closer to the major leagues than that right now. But I don't think you can quantify it. Paul Skeens, Joe Burrow, that type of deal.
I don't know what effect it ended up happening, but this afternoon, the way that wind was roaring, did it change your approach to the game or what you told your hitters and outfielders or anything?
For sure.
Were you concerned about it?
I wouldn't say concerned. I would say aware. I think when we showed up for BP, it was obviously going to play in the game, and it was odd. It switched directions during batting practice. I don't know if you call it a swirling wind. I was a PE major, and so I leave it to the staff to tell me. They start talking about northeast, southwest. I have no idea what they're talking about, and so I just go, out to left, out to right, in from all directions. We just need to know what the deal is, and you had to pay attention tonight because it actually switched in about the 3rd inning, and it definitely impacted the game. And again, it's just something you can't control, and just try to be alert for it. I thought Derek made 2 really nice plays, and they were in the same inning. I've seen a lot of plays get muffed in left field here because of the sun, both for and against my teams. And then the one running back, I think that Thorndike hit on the screws, really good plays. And so, yeah, it's just part of the deal. Sounds like it's going to be part of the deal tomorrow as well.
Noah Darling, College Baseball Central. Coach, a little bit trip through the history books here. In 2023, I believe you mentioned the importance of winning Game 1, how you felt that was mandatory for your team to win it all that year. Looking back at 2016, Coach Schnall just mentioned the shutout in Game 1. So walk us through kind of the dynamic of the importance of winning Game 1, as you just did, but also remaining cautious with that lesson in 2016.
Yeah, I think you could look at any 2 out of 3, like any super regional, and they're not over until you win 2. And there's not anybody that doesn't really understand that, at least in our locker room. And we have a different way that we look at things. Caution's not really a word that this group would really use. Focused, determined, task at hand, execution, preparation. It's kind of a little more where our head's at.
Jay, you talked about building your roster to be able to win any kind of game. What's it like winning a 1-0 game? It's never happened for LSU here. Just what's that emotion like?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's not a lot of emotion. Like I don't think that helps you when you're in battle, both as a player and as a coach or decision maker. You're just trying to stay focused on what your team needs. And Fluky, I mean, hats off to him. I mean, I'd heard really good things about him, obviously prepared for him over the last couple days, and he was better than the reputation, and the reputation was really good. It's hard to imagine that he's probably not a first-round pick next year. I mean, we've seen a lot of good arms this year, and he's right there at the top. I thought our guys battled. Anytime we had a chance for momentum, it was either the next at-bat just didn't go the way we needed it to go to capitalize and create some space in the game. And thankfully, we had the best pitcher in the world, going tonight, and played great defense behind him.
We have time for one more question. Okay, that'll conclude. Oh, sorry.
You talked to Michael Poggi, KLSU Sports. You just talked about the defense. I'd just like to kind of talk about Michael Braswell and just his spectacular defensive abilities. And he has been struggling at the plate, but there's no shortness of him, succeeding on the field.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to impact your team's ability to win the game, other than just hitting. I think when you hand out these line scores or box scores, like it has to do with offense mostly in the first, and that's what grabs the attention. But you're playing one of the best teams in the country. That they don't give you a whole lot. You have to win the game. Like I said, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And his defense, stopped some potential momentum for them tonight. And I'm glad you brought that up. It's one of the first things that I brought up with the team was the 2 strike at bats in the first inning. Luis Hernandez is catching, the outfield play between Derek Stanfield and Jake Brown. And then obviously Michael had a huge impact on the game tonight.
Coach, we appreciate your time. That will conclude our press conference for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Hammond Communications.